Our next guest this evening is Loic Hares, who is the founder of Resilience Energy. Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
We have some fun facts about you. Apparently you would like to see Formula E replace Formula One.
Absolutely, just for the good of the planet. It's as an exciting sport, so it would be great to see it.
Have you been to any tournaments or?
No, I follow it on the TV, but haven't had a chance to go there yet.
Okay, I'm sure it's the future, isn't it? Electric
Absolutely,
cars.
let's hope so.
Are you ready to pitch?
Yep.
You've got 8 minutes.
Great, thank you. So I'm Loic, the founder CEO of Resilience Energy. And we're aiming to be the Uber of the electricity industry by enabling our homeowners to produce, store and sell electricity via our managed service and app. Our customers can save up to 80% on their electricity bills and start the journey towards being self-sufficient. So I've been in the electricity industry for the last 10 years now, and the shape of the industry has really changed over those 10 years. Ofgem has brought in many small suppliers into the mix to try and drive some innovation into the very stagnant and old-fashioned industry. These are just an example from Uswitch of how many supply companies are available to B2C customers. And after 5 years, do I really see any innovation coming into the industry? Well, I'd love to say yes, but I think the answer is no. We've seen some great strong brands come through, such as Bulb and Octopus Energy, coming along with some really good customer service and some great products, but we've not really seen any innovation. And that's where we think that we've come up with the answer. We bring some real innovation into the energy industry. Our vision is to facilitate a carbon neutral world, enabling our customers to self-generate all of the electricity they need in their lives and help secure the future of the electricity network. Now that's really important because our lives in general are going to become much more electrified over the next 5 years with the introduction of electric vehicles and electric heating into our homes. And currently the electricity network of today would struggle to cope with that extra demand. And that's where our solution fits into the market. What we do? Well, we offer everything the customer needs to generate, store and sell electricity. We start with solar panels. We fit the right amount of solar panels onto the customer's home. If they've already got solar panels, absolutely fantastic. We can use their solution already installed. We match the right amount of generation we've installed with the right battery for their home usage and generation. And lastly, we bring in our innovative platform to manage the system. Now our platform manages the interface with the homeowner's system and the grid, maximising their savings on a day-to-day basis. So our platform has 3 main functions. The first is to monitor the electricity system in the customer's home. But up to now, a customer may need 3 different apps to monitor solar, battery and an electricity supply contract. We bring that all into one central place. Our management has the function of learning the customer's behaviour, and then once we know when they need electricity, we make sure that the battery has always got the electricity they need at the points they need it. And if there's spare capacity where the customer does not need that electricity, then we'll use that electricity to generate them further income as a bonus on top of the 80% savings they might be able to achieve. Lastly, we bring a central point for customer service to the customer where they can raise issues around their solar panels, their installation, their battery and their electricity contract all in one place. Now our systems start from £7,750 all the way up to our larger systems, which are £13,500. Our £10 a month subscription fee covers the management, and in return we try and deliver the 80% savings on the electricity bills, but we also give an 8 to 9 year payback, and customers on top of the cost of the system and the subscription fee can earn up to £8,000 on the lifetime of the product. Now, just to make sure you know what we do differently in the market, we've just pulled together this quick little video for you to watch.
4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 5, 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine, 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right. And if you want a good tomorrow, it's pretty simple, gotta find a light to follow. And if you do, you have a future real bright. And it's a combination of consistency. Come on and say, oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. With another sunrise, it's a brand new day, so gonna make a little list to keep the worries away. I gotta dance just a little bit, move to be free. Keep my head up, don't forget to be me. Like I won $1 million, like a kid to pay dirt. Gonna smile from ear to ear, the kind that makes your face hurt. And we'll laugh, jump, sing loud, not afraid to shout about being happy, living it out. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right. And if you want a good tomorrow, it's pretty simple, gotta find a light to follow. And if you do, you have a future real bright. And it's a combination of consistency. Come on and sing, oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah.
So where does our system kind of fit into the future of the energy system? Well, many industry specialists see the electricity industry going down a peer-to-peer energy route, where if I have too much electricity being produced at my house and my neighbour is in during the day and needs the electricity, why shouldn't I be able to sell my power to my neighbour at a reduced rate? Now that would be absolutely fantastic, but for that to happen, there needs to be an existing network of distributed generation and storage power stations spread across the whole of the UK network. And that's exactly what we're providing. So when the technology and the regulation catches up in 5, 10 years time and blockchain technology is able to deliver a peer-to-peer energy network, we will have the network in place to be able to deliver that peer-to-peer energy network. Our product's going to change quite a lot over the next 5 years in order to deliver that. Integrating things like EV chargers into the mix, and things like smart water switches to enable customers to use the electricity they generate to heat water as well as charge their battery. And all of this is to ensure that the electricity generated on site is used by the customer and not imported to the grid, as what they import to the grid will always be much, much lower than at the price at which they import from the grid. So we're trying to maximise that.
That was good timing there. Thanks for the pitch.
No problem at all.
Julia, questions?
Can I do some basic ones just to start
Absolutely,
with?
go for it.
80% of the solar panel generated. I
Yes.
mean, I'm sure the numbers I've heard before are sort of 30, 40. I mean, can you really make that claim?
So if you've got solar panels on their own, you can save about 30% on your electricity bill by just using the power straight from the panels in your home, and that's if you're around when the sun's actually generating. By adding a battery on top of that, you can increase that number to about 60% because you're able to capture the energy for when you're actually in the evening. Mm-hmm. What we do on top of that is to kind of manage the system to put you at the centre, the customer at the centre of the system. And we can do things like, if you've used all the battery power in the evening, we can then top it up overnight where the electricity is much cheaper, so that in the morning when you will be using it again, you're using cheaper electricity rather than free energy. And that's where we can maximise those savings up to 80%.
Because I'm still getting up in the morning and turning on every appliance I've got in the house to make sure I use as much solar power. So you're saying there's a more sophisticated solution out there, Loic?
Yes, I think that's technology and hardware. The cost of residential batteries has come down over the last few years, and it's really kind of enabling the next level of home power stations, as we like to call it.
And this difference between the price of electricity, this kind of sort of, either buy cheap sell expensive. And what kind of order of magnitude? How much difference is it really if I'm doing this at 10 o'clock or in the morning or 10 o'clock at night?
So a standard kind of day tariff could be about 16 pence per kilowatt hour. Overnight you can get maybe 10 pence per kilowatt hour tariffs. So you know there's a good amount of saving just from switching the use from day.
But don't I get paid anyway when I export the electricity?
You do, but it's very, in the magnitude is much smaller. You know, you're talking about 3 or 4 pence per kilowatt hour. So it's about 3 times more expensive to import than it is to export.
So it's 16p is what it's worth if I use it, and if I don't use it, it's worth 3 or 4p. That's a big difference, isn't it?
Huge difference, yeah. Do you find that solar panels are becoming more prevalent in the UK?
They are, yes. There's 800,000 solar installations now, and I think what's driving that is the cost of solar panels have really reduced. But also the government and councils are expecting new developers to start thinking about using technologies such as solar and battery in their new developments. And we're talking to a lot of developers at the moment about using our system as part of their houses, and that's great. That's where we should be going as a society. So we're embracing that.
That Camden Council on the right track. We got some letters, I think it was a few months ago, just inquiries to see who might be interested in going for solar panels, which they would subsidise. So we haven't heard anything back from them though. So but they said if there was enough people, then they would take that on board. So
that's good to know.
Is there a part of the country that you're particularly focused on? I mean, is this all about the South Coast?
No, we're nationwide at the moment. We have a demo site at the BRE Park, which is the Building Research Establishment just outside of Watford, and we've got a live system up and running there, and you can go on our website and log in to see our monitoring of that system. But you know, and any customers are welcome to come along and see the system for themselves there, but you know, we're nationwide.
And you did mention, I'm sure he said EVs. Did you hear him say EVs?
Yes.
You did talk about, right? So what happens when you throw an electric car into the mix and I've got to juggle my panels and my battery and my washing machine and my car?
Absolutely, and I think that kind of decision you've kind of pointed out there is exactly what we want to take away from the customers, because you know, you shouldn't be having to try and work out, well, I want my car tomorrow at 8 o'clock, therefore it's cheaper for me to charge it now, and you know, we can take all of that kind of thinking away and just let the system run it. So we can start making decisions on whether it's better to charge the car from the sun or to charge the battery, depending on pricing, etc.
And how far away do you think we are from self-sufficiency?
It's an interesting question. I think there's a lot of research going into using your electric vehicle as an additional battery going forward, so that you can actually use the power stored in your car onto the grid. I think when that becomes a bit more mainstream, I think that's when we'll be able to start looking at 100% self-generation.
And hopefully some cleaner air at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's not just about sustainability.
Yeah.
Some stats from some of the big cities really horrific, the quality of the air. So.
Although I'm always quite surprised because I've got the you know, the app on your phone that tells you the air quality. Actually, Britain compared to a lot of other countries, a lot of countries don't list, but I was quite surprised. I mean, the air quality seems to be not that terrible.
Absolutely, and it will only get better with electric vehicles being kind of adopted and reducing the amount of coal power stations, etc., generating the electricity.
Yeah, it's the
we
transport
use on a
and the energy. But I know that Southampton got fined recently because the air quality broached the European standard. But and they're a big port; they got lots of vehicles.
Absolutely,
so but it's kind of chicken and egg, isn't it? We want people in the electric cars, but they need to be able to charge it, and so it's important that the price is maintained. I think because electric vehicles could just be too expensive for a large number of people.
I think that once most of our the leading manufacturers have already stated that they're going to phase out electric and diesel cars, and you'll start driving the economies of scales at that point in the electric vehicle manufacturers, and that's when you'll see the prices come down.
But you'll make it cheaper for me to run an electric car, will you?
Absolutely, that's what we hope to do.
So good, yeah. Well, the new rules kick in from April, don't they? So, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Loic, for joining us today.
No problem at all.
If you'd like to hear more about Resilience Energy, you can do so at crowdcube.com.